Hi there, this is CJ with FlavorCloud, and I'm here to tell you about our new Whitespace Growth Analysis Report. This is a completely free report that anyone with FlavorCloud installed in their Shopify store can access. It pulls together your own storefront funnel and market-specific conversion data, layers in market intelligence around things like consumer behavior trends and competitor brand activity, and then combines all that with FlavorCloud's network data from hundreds of merchants in your vertical. From there, our AI-powered pricing intelligence recommends optimized pricing strategies that you can put on autopilot, managing pricing at the SKU level to scale your international conversion rates without eroding margins in any market. So if you're not using FlavorCloud today, install the app to get started, and if you are already using FlavorCloud, reach out to your CSM and they'll get you set up. Let's dive right in. So the first thing we'll look at is the gap between traffic and revenue. So you can see that international traffic makes up 24% of your overall traffic, while international revenue only makes up about 12% of your overall revenue. FlavorCloud is able to calculate that represents about $11.5 million in annual revenue that you could be accessing. Next, we're going to look at the checkout conversion rate gap. So that's the percentage of shoppers that move from the cart to the checkout. You can see on the far left here, the US checkout rate is about 49%. On the far right, the international checkout rate is only 18%, so a drop in 31 percentage points. Of that 11.5 million that you're leaving on the table, we calculate that 8.6 million comes from just this. Now let's look at the full funnel view. So in my columns, I have the percentage of shoppers that ever add anything to the cart, the percentage of those shoppers that move from the cart to the checkout, and then the percentage of shoppers who move from checkout to purchase. In my columns, I have the US, or your domestic market, I have the international markets overall, and then I have the gap between those. So you can see that in the international markets, there's a 1.9 percentage point drop in your add to cart traffic. On the far right, I have the levers. So these are FlavorCloud products. So if you're having an issue with add to cart, we recommend our market-sensitive pricing product. I'll talk about that in a future slide. Same with the checkout and purchase conversion rate. We recommend the Localized market pricing product. And so you can see the breakdown again, that $11.5 million that we keep coming back to, 8.6 million of that comes from the checkout to purchase conversion rate, and then 2.9 million of that comes from just increasing the percentage of shoppers who add something to the cart. Now we break it down by market. So we show you the top 10 markets where you're getting traffic and activity, but maybe not converting as well as you could. So let's take a look, for example, at the top two markets, Canada and the UK. You're reaching a ton of traffic, but that conversion rate is sub 20%, when in the US we know that it's nearly 50%. And then we quantify that based on your AOV on the right. Moving to the next slide, you can see those same figures represented here, and you can see the math that we used to get there. All of this is pulled automatically from your Shopify data. You don't have to do anything extra. So how do we get there? First, let's tackle checkout conversion. That's going to unlock that $8.6 million in latent revenue that we calculated earlier, and the first step to unlocking that is implementing FlavorCloud's LMP, or Localized Market Pricing. So this Localized Market Pricing shows guaranteed landed costs up front, inclusive of duties, taxes, and shipping, all in the local currency, so that shoppers aren't going to get sticker shock when they move through the checkout process. Then we move on to the add to cart rate. That's that other $2.9 million in revenue that we want to unlock, and the key lever there is going to be MSP, or market sensitive pricing, another FlavorCloud product that allows you to compare your catalog to the catalogs of comparable sellers in your markets and helps you price competitively in a way that still maintains your margins. Next, we have the roadmap, which lays out all the recommendations we gave you on the last slide, along with timeline to implement. And that's it. Remember, this report is completely free, so if you're not a FlavorCloud user, simply install the FlavorCloud app on the Shopify App Store, and if you are a FlavorCloud user today, simply reach out to your CSM and they can get you started. Happy selling.